Breaking news now at 5 about the Indianapolis Indians. We're live with the latest on the future of the season.
Indiana's new hands-free cell phone law goes into effect tomorrow. We'll tell you how it works and how police plan to enforce it.
Knowing the risks, I could definitely see why a parent would be inclined to keep their child at home.
Parents will soon be deciding if continued distance learning or heading back to the classroom is right for their child. Just ahead, insight that might help you make your decision.
This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
That breaking news, the Indianapolis Indians will not play baseball in 2020. Hello, I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. That announcement coming from the club just minutes ago. Victory Field will remain empty for the remainder of the summer. Brad Brown joins us live from the ballpark with the very latest. Brad, I'm sure a lot of people are disappointed with this news.
Mark and Amanda, really from the top down, from management here to players and staff, all the way through to the baseball fans here around the Circle City. It was a call we suspected we'd be getting at some point this summer, given the difficulties Major League Baseball had in getting their season started. But here in just the span of the last few minutes, the Indians making it official that the 2020 season will in fact be canceled. As we said, Victory Field will set empty for the remainder of the summer and into the fall here for this season. It's a real shame as well because they've done some fantastic work here at the field over the course of getting ready for this 2020 season, including the addition of the Elements Financial Club premium seating up over home plate. The grounds crew once again has done an award-winning job of keeping this place in bang-up shape, and bottom line is they were ready to go. Well, of course, Major League Baseball struggled to get its season going at all. Just last week, upon the announcement of the 60-game season, the Indians' parent club, the Pittsburgh Pirates, announced that their taxi squad, so to speak, well, they will go back and forth from, well, they're going to go with their AA club in Altoona, Pennsylvania. That means that Indianapolis really just doesn't have a spot in the mix. Now, while several players that would have been on the Indians roster will get a chance to be on what is the Pirates' 60-man roster, ultimately the entirety of this operation will not be happening here for the 2020 season. What that means going forward, we will find out from Indians general manager Randy Lewandowski. We'll speak with him in a little bit. We'll have some of that coming up for you tonight on the news at 6, but the breaking news here today at 5, the Indians canceling their 2020 season. No baseball at Victory Field here this summer. Reporting live downtown, Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
Thank you, Brad, for that report. And a new law impacting drivers across the state goes into effect tomorrow. We're talking about Indiana's hands-free law. Drivers will no longer be allowed to have their phone in their hands while behind the wheel. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum explains how police plan to enforce this and why one local woman says she thinks the law will save lives.
It's a big change for drivers across the state. If you want to use your cell phone behind the wheel for a phone call or GPS, you'll have to do it hands-free. Speeding, tailgating, weaving in and out of lanes, and not using a turn signal. They're dangerous driving habits, and state police say are often done by people holding and using a cell phone. At times, distracted driving has even proved to be deadly. It's something Kelly Sire knows all too well. She lost her husband, Brian, in 2011. She tells us he had the right of way in a crosswalk and was hit and killed by a driver using their phone. Their kids just 6 and 10 years old at the time. So ever since then, she's been fighting for change and pushing for a law like this.
I just don't want that, any other family to go through that. And if this law somebody can be driving along and think about either my story or someone else they know, or just that they don't want to get a ticket and put their phone down, then that's amazing. And that's the reason that it was so important to me.
And now, police will be able to pull people over for having a phone in their hand, something they hope will change people's habits and keep their focus on the road.
I think it's going to make the road safer for everyone, and everyone needs to take responsibility to change their behavior and keep that phone out of their hand. And I think if we can all do that, I think we'll reduce crashes by a significant number.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And state police say they are going to be using these next few months to educate drivers and will likely start writing tickets for holding your cell phone later this year. We will have more info about this new law on our website at theindychannel.com. And Indiana will join 20 other states in the District of Columbia in banning handheld cell phones while driving. If you're going to be traveling this summer, take a good look at this map. States with handheld bans while driving include Tennessee and Illinois. And one new law won't take effect tomorrow. A federal judge today blocked a controversial Indiana panhandling law. The law would effectively ban panhandling within downtown Indianapolis. And while the law won't take effect tomorrow, arguments will continue in court until a permanent decision is made. Kevin.
Okay, maybe you heard that little buzzer there. Just checking on that. We've got some thunderstorms across central Indiana producing heavy rainfall. That's no surprise. The humidity obviously is the story. Let's talk about what's going to happen here over the next 12 hours or so. I think the thunderstorms will diminish in coverage. The heavy rainfall, maybe an inch in an hour's period of time. They are not as widespread as yesterday at this time. We'll zoom into the north and east where the strongest storm sits now near Anderson. You may have some half-inch hail there. Torrential rainfall. It's only moving at about 10 miles per hour. Had heavy rainfall in Wayne County near Richmond and then also through Muncie. A couple of spotty downpours, as you can see, anywhere from Monticello over toward Kokomo and Frankfort. This is the other part of the story where it's raining. It's much cooler. 77 in Muncie, 87 in Lafayette. We'll talk about the change and some dry days and the 7-day forecast coming up.
We're only a few days into the summer season, but already school districts are busy preparing to welcome students back after being away for so long due to the pandemic. RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you to explain what experts have to say about the return to the classroom and whether parents should send their children back.
I expect, in the next few weeks that we are going to be seeing more cases and that we are going to get a little bit of a flare. I think we're probably just behind the other states, in my opinion.
Experts say we could see another round of coronavirus cases. That's unnerving to hear as school districts come up with plans for the upcoming school year and parents try to decide whether to send scholars back to school or keep distance learning.
I think the variables that go into it are potentially the level of risk that the family is at as a whole, not just the child, knowing that kids are a lot less likely to have severe manifestations of the disease, but also it seems like kids are a little bit less likely to actually spread the disease than was originally thought.
Takia Lewis runs BK Interventions, an initiative designed to keep scholars soaring. She's also a parent, so she sees both sides of the debate over sending children back to the classrooms during the pandemic.
In reality, I am a parent first, and I have to do what's in the best interest of my child, and that's the same advice that I employ others take as well. You know your child better than we know your child, and you know your child's capabilities and what they're more inclined to do.
Some schools have released return to school plans, while others are still at the drawing board. Those plans include making sure students are wearing a mask during the day, reserving and limiting spots on school buses, rotating playground zones, increased disinfecting, and not allowing school visitors. Dr. Cole Biller says some of those guidelines are realistic, others not so much.
Really, it's going to be very difficult to expect kids to keep masks on their face the entire day, and I think that's okay. Kids are mobile. Try and move things outside, try and space things out as much as possible.
Working for you in downtown, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Well, the nation's pediatricians have come out with a powerful statement pushing for bringing children back to the classroom this fall. Check that out when you read this story on our website, theindychannel.com. Today on Capitol Hill, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease specialist and a member of the coronavirus task force, gave a dire warning during a Senate hearing on reopening schools and workplaces. He said areas seeing recent outbreaks are putting the entire nation at risk and said coronavirus cases could grow to 100,000 a day.
I can't make an accurate prediction, but it is going to be very disturbing. I will guarantee you that. Because when you have an outbreak in one part of the country, even though in other parts of the country they're doing well, they are vulnerable. I made that point very clearly last week at a press conference. We can't just focus on those areas that are having the surge. It puts the entire country at risk. We are now having 40,000+ new cases a day. I would not be surprised if we go up to 100,000 a day if this does not turn around, and so I am very concerned.
He also stressed once again the importance of wearing masks and slowing the spread of the virus.
Tomorrow we will hear from Governor Holcomb, and we are expected to learn if Indiana is on track to enter stage 5 of the reopening plan on Saturday. Today, the governor signed an executive order extending the prohibition on evictions, foreclosures, and the disconnection of utility services in Indiana amid the pandemic. And the prohibition on evictions and foreclosures has been extended through July 31st. All utilities regulated by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission are prohibited against service disconnections through August 14th. Unregulated utilities must also extend service until that date. And now for today's coronavirus numbers, 16 more people have died. That is one of the larger increases in the past 6 days. 2,448 people have died from COVID-19 in Indiana, and 385 more people have tested positive. Statewide, the number is up to nearly 45,600.
Amazon's presence in Indiana continues to grow. A new fulfillment center will open up in early July at a new business park in Johnson County. The town of Whiteland says Amazon will hire an undisclosed number of employees to work at the facility in the Whiteland Exchange Business Park. Construction on the business park near I-65 began in the spring of 2019. This will be Amazon's second facility in Johnson County. It also has a fulfillment center in Greenwood that opened in September.
Hiring Hoosiers is our commitment to make sure you know of all kinds of jobs and career possibilities. Have you ever considered joining the military? The Army is trying to hire 10,000 new soldiers in 3 days, starting today. It's all part of the U.S. Army's first nationwide virtual hiring campaign. And they're hiring full and part-time soldiers across 150 different career fields, ranging from traditional combat roles to support positions in accounting and finance, logistics, engineering, and technology. Special cash bonuses are being offered to those who enlist during this 3-day event.
Once people hear about the benefits the Army has, once they hear about the jobs, it's typically not too hard to convince them. The Army really sells itself with its benefits packages.
I take a lot of pride in our country, and I want to protect our communities and the country as a whole, and I see this as a way of doing it.
Again, this hiring event runs through Thursday. If you are interested, we have all the information at hiringhoosiers.com.
Still ahead on RTV6, rolling into summer vacation on wheels. We're looking at the latest family getaway trend, the cost, and why it's so timely during the pandemic. And then we've got the list of new guidelines and restrictions you'll see when you take your little ones to the Children's Museum of Indianapolis as it prepares to reopen.
Are the kids begging for a summer trip, but you worry about staying in a hotel or getting on a plane during the pandemic? You might want to join the many people camping during this summer of COVID-19. Consumer reporter John Matarese shows us how much it might cost so you don't waste your money.
Trying to keep your social distance during summer travels? Then consider your own house on wheels.
Picking up today. Picking their campers up.
Dale and Jody Stanley were picking up their brand new travel trailer, an oasis from COVID-19 worries.
It's a chance to get away and disconnect from some of the stuff that's going on. And
General Manager Nick Raymond says business has exploded.
It's been an unbelievable resurgence of business after the state has opened back up again.
And this year, people are telling you they just feel uncomfortable in a hotel or on an airplane?
People are leery of flying, and you have all your own stuff with you. Your own beds and kitchen and bathroom, and you don't have to worry about who else has been in the camper.
Shoppers were stunned by luxury amenities, such as realistic-looking granite and tile.
It looks like it's brick in here.
Some campers look like they were designed by HGTV's Property Brothers.
Yeah, they do. They make them look really, really high-end.
There's really something for every budget. You could spend $75,000 on an RV or get a travel camper for around 20 grand, or even a tent camper for less than half of that. This cute two-person camper is just under 10 grand. With sales booming, so are campsite reservations, travel trailers that you pull with your SUV, and RVs, a camper that you drive, are lining up at campground gates. It's affordable in these tough economic times. Lula Williams and her family love the camaraderie of campgrounds.
Being around people, staying safe, so it's really great.
Can't afford a new camper? Well, you can rent a camper for about $150 a night or save a fortune buying used. The Stanleys' two girls look forward to summer in their new camper.
Girls, you like the camper?
Yeah.
One caution, beware cheap used campers on Craigslist. They're a great deal until the roof leaks, the wheels wobble, and you find mold under the floors. Have someone inspect it so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries for RTV6.
The Children's Museum of Indianapolis is getting ready to welcome more guests and reopen to the general public. It was announced today that it will reopen on Saturday, July 11th. Right now, it's only open to donors and members. Capacity will be limited to 3,000 people, and they're asking that everyone reserve tickets in advance. Everyone who is over the age of 2 will be required to wear a mask. If you have a medical issue or trouble with a mask, you'll be asked to tell a staff member and you'll get a special sticker. They are following all CDC and state and health department guidelines to make sure your visit is a safe one.
You cannot turn around in the museum right now without seeing a sanitation station. So that's a place that you can get those disinfectant wipes or the sanitizing lotion and clean your hands frequently as often as you like. And also many of the things are being cleaned down throughout the day by our staff and cleaning crew. So you'll find people on every floor wiping down all the railings, they're cleaning the elevator buttons, anything that is high touch area is being cleaned.
She also suggests that you bring your own water bottles because the drinking fountains are closed, but they have multiple filling stations throughout the museum and outside at the Sports Legend Experience.
And you know what, Kevin? One of the new exhibits to check out at the museum is the wild weather exhibit.
We've had some wild weather, haven't we? We've had some heavy rainfall.
Last night we did.
And so, yeah, last night you had the heavy rain. Well, just let me talk about it for 1 second. Out at the airport, the official rain gauge is at the airport, 1.15 inches of rain. A mile away is where the Weather Service office is. They had 3.3 inches of rain. So that's how quickly things can change over a short period. Oh, if you're 2 years old or older, you have to wear a mask at the museum. If you're 20 feet or taller, then you have to wear a mask as well. Look at that. There he is, the dinosaur, showing the way. Kids coming back into the Children's Museum. That wild weather exhibit, by the way, is there until the fall, so you have a little time. There's the veil of clouds they built quickly in the heat and humidity again across central Indiana. Notice what's not around. If you go from Lafayette to, say, Anderson and then Connorsville northeast, there's the line of storms. Not much happening, if anything, southwest of that. We're going to zoom into Madison County. That seems to be the center of attention now. Marklettville, torrential rainfall on up to Anderson, so going north of I-69 to Elwood as well. Lapel with heavy rainfall. Main impacts here will be 30-mile-per-hour gusts, some hail with this, as well as some quick street flooding. We'll kind of look into the storm. This is our hail indicator, and you can see between Anderson and Lapel, some hail there. Last reported at about ½ an inch. You can put your car inside if you can do that. As far as temperatures and the humidity, 89 is what it feels like because of the heat index in Indy, 93 the heat index in Lafayette, mid-90s in Peru. When we change the temperature as we go to the weekend and push highs close to 90, the heat index won't be too awful because the humidity will come down just a bit. Admit it, you want to rub this dog's nose, don't you? That is Lily. And look at that, nice asleep, enjoying, I'm sure, some, yeah, very comfortable, some air conditioning, and get out in the yard. And if it's sprinklers on, they probably like to play in that. Temperatures will be in the mid to 70s. Thanks to Donna Sweeney for that picture. Okay, between 7 and 11, the overall coverage of these storms will diminish. Last night, they lived on through the overnight hours. I don't think we'll have that. It's not to say there's not a chance, but the chance is much lower. Thunderstorms around tomorrow, developing during the heat of the day, and notice you barely see any color there. I think we're dry as we go Thursday through Saturday. That means through the 4th of July. Temperatures tomorrow, upper 80s, 40% chance. We'll see afternoon thunderstorms. During the day tomorrow, you'll begin to see those pop around 1 o'clock, continue into the afternoon hours, and then fade as we get to tomorrow night. A little dry stretch, but a warm stretch. How about that? 6 out of 7 days. Temperatures at 90 or above. Our dry stretch Thursday through Sunday with very small chances for rain. Back to some thunderstorms on Monday and Tuesday, at least the potential of that.
The Indiana Pacers are counting down the days until they can return to action. Coming up, the team's president talks about getting ready for a very unusual season.
For the RTV6 app on your phone or streaming device.
If things continue as planned, the NBA will restart its season 1 month from today. The Pacers are back in Indianapolis and continuing work at the team's facility. For now, players are only allowed to work with one at a time with a coach. Next Thursday, the team and its staff will leave for Orlando. They'll be staying at the Disney World Resort and playing all games at ESPN's Wide World of Sports. A ton of protocols in place regarding COVID-19. Pacers president Kevin Pritchard talked today about the team's mindset.
You go from apprehension on one end of the pendulum to exciting. And so I would tell you in the beginning, it's been very, people are worried, players are worried, coaches are worried. And now it's starting to swing into, and I think it's a mindset of some of our players, and that's trickling down, that we're getting excited to go play basketball and really look at this as a unique experience.
The Pacers' first of 8 regular season games will be on August 1st. That will be against Philadelphia. They'll also face the Lakers, 2 games against Miami, among others. The NBA playoffs are scheduled to start August 16th. Still ahead on the news at 5:30 here, more roundabouts coming to central Indiana, the city that's continuing to solidify its place as the roundabout capital of the U.S. in the name of safety.